Quite a few days ago, the Union Cabinet passed a proposal to increase the minimum age of marriage for women from 18 to 21. Later, Union Minister for Women and Child Development Smriti Irani proposed a bill to amend the provision of Child Marriage Act 2006 to change the definition of child for both men and women to whoever hasn't attained the age of 21. The first indication of increasing girls' legal age came in the speech of Prime Minister Modi on Independence Day 2020. And a task force under Jaya Jetli was formed in order to look at the correlation between age of marriage and nutrition, physical health and other social indices. The recommendation submitted by this very task force became the basis for the proposal to increase the girls' legal age from 18 to 21. As of current, after facing stiff resistance from the opposition, criticizing the government of haste in presenting the bill now has been referred to Parliament Standing Committee before again being presented in the Houses of Parliament. A remarkable thing about this bill that this amendment would override all the personal laws of different communities. As I am assuming that you might be familiar with the fact that different communities in India like Hindu, Muslim, Parsis have different set of laws governing their civil affairs like marriage, inheritance, divorce, etc. And a thing to be noted here, for most of the time only Hindu personal law was subjected to reform, while sparing personal laws belonging to different communities, which have retained much of their orthodox religious character. I think this might be the first bill introduced in the parliament whose proposed changes would be applicable to every community, irrespective of the personal laws, thus making child marriage a criminal offense for every citizen of this country. Carrying on, you guys might ask what might be the reasons behind the proposal of increasing the age. Basically, the bill intends to improve the position of women with respect to various social indices. Like first, to address the malnutrition problem in women. Second, to decrease the maternal mortality rate MMR among women. Those who don't know MMR, it is the number of women who die each year due to complication arising during pregnancy or childbirth. There has been shown an association between early marriages and high MMR, as some clinical studies have suggested. The physical underdevelopment of young girl might be the main cause behind this high maternal mortality rate. Third, to address the problem of infant mortality rate IMR, as it has been suggested an association between teenage pregnancies and risk of early miscarriages and high infant mortality. Fourth, ensuring greater educational and job opportunities for the girls in order to increase the female participation in the labor force. The last reason is more a matter of principle, which is establishing a true legal gender equality. Because remember, our constitution promises that the law would not discriminate on the basis of sex, religion, caste, etc. By making the legal age of women as same as that of men, both being 21, it establishes a legal equality between both genders, because the present state is like that men's minimum legal age is 21 and women's legal age is 18. But here I might add, there have been special provisions and special treatments given to certain groups or communities in the past, but they mostly had a reasonable basis or a rationale behind them. On the contrary, the different legal ages for two genders when it comes to marriage, far from being grounded in something rational, in many ways reflect an underlying patriarchal mindset of Indian society. You might ask how? I will explain. The first being the very preconceived notion that कि लड़कियां लड़कों से जल्दी मैच्योर हो जाती हैं, that girls often mature at an early age compared to men. इसका कोई evidence हो या ना हो, regardless of that, whether there is any evidence supporting this claim or not, the society still believes in it. The other belief that our society holds that men's age in a marriage should always be higher than women, because why not? All the important decisions in a family have to be taken by men, isn't it? And also most in our society hold the belief, the view कि परिवार के लिए एक आदमी का कमाना जरूरी है. It's very important for a man to make a living for his family. And working of women is not being much encouraged. On the contrary, it is often discouraged. Thus, the guy has to marry at a late age in order for him to complete all the necessary education that would make him earn for his family. My point is that by making both legal ages equal, the state will not only be able to establish a legal parity between two genders in the context of marriage, but it will also send a positive message that a law would not perpetuate and reflect these unfounded, baseless, discriminatory societal beliefs. On the contrary, the law would take a more pragmatic and rational approach. But surprisingly, this bill came under heavy criticism. Many feminists, women rights activists, researchers, and politicians from opposition parties challenged this proposal. Roughly, their criticism against the proposal can be summarized in basically three main arguments. First, if we legally consider a person as an adult when he or she passes the age of 18 and became eligible of taking almost every decision of their life, then why we should criminalize the decision of marriage if it has been made by two consenting adults? Second, many critics believe that criminalizing something won't solve the problems that the government want to address, like the problem of lack of nutrition, high maternal mortality rate, lack of educational and job opportunities won't be solved by legally raising the marriage age of girls. In order to work for women empowerment at the ground level, instead, you need more public investment in education, healthcare, and employment, and more campaigns for social awareness. The third main argument is like that raising legal age to 21 from 18 would criminalize most contemporary marriages. According to some data, presently 56% of women married under the age of 21. And what if these marriages became illegal? It might create a lot of problems for the couples and their families. So now let's counter some of these arguments, shall we? First, why can't two consenting adults who are above 18 marry? In a recent tweet, opposition leader, quite famous, Asauddin Owaisi, argues if 18-year-old boys and girls can vote in an election or can start a business, then why they can't be allowed to get married? I don't think so. We can compare voting decision with something as serious as marriage. Marrying somebody is not just about the ability to choose the right partner. It is much more than that. It's not just about making a rational choice, but how your marriage will turn out depends on a lot of factors like your educational level, financial situation, employment status, physical health and development, and many more. As many things, from child rearing to financial stability of a family to how much leverage you have when it comes to making key decisions concerning your family, even protection from domestic violence. All of these things very much depend on all these factors. And in order to acquire all of that, you really need some time in your life in order to live your marriage life with dignity, respect, and stability. Second, I want to tell Owaisi Sahab that not everything is permissible by law when you turn 18. Our law in particular cases don't treat 18 as a minimum age to participate in key responsible positions. Like you can't run for an election for the position of member of parliament or member of legislative assembly until you are age of 25. And also the minimum age to get elected as a member of legislative council MLC is 30. So I wanna ask, why not 18? Why 25 and 30? Surely our lawmakers and even the founders of our constitution understood voting for an MP or MLA in an election is distinct from being an MP or MLA itself. So let's think, why can't we apply the same logic when it comes to marrying somebody? When it comes to choosing the right partner for the marriage on one side and taking the responsibility of marriage life on other side. Voting for an MLA and being an MLA. If you know what I'm saying. I know. It might seem like a very crazy argument at first sight, but why don't you relax and think about it a little more. And one more thing, marriage is a legal institution. Don't forget that. Whether it is inheritance or divorce or custody of kids and alimony after the divorce, all these things are decided by the personal laws and civic courts in India. In the same Twitter thread, Owaisi also pointed out that how in Western countries the legal age for marriage is even less than 18. Well, that's indeed true. In some Western countries, the legal age of marriage is even less than 18. If we talk about USA, 21 states have a minimum age of 16, 10 states with 17, and even 4 states have no minimum age. So why India should have minimum age of 21? Shouldn't we ape West on every other issue? After all, West is a hallmark of progressivism, isn't it? To that I will reply, the answer lies in the two different societal realities of these two countries. As in case of India, marriage is generally forced by the parents on their sons and daughters with little space of free choice. On the contrary, in the West, marriage is pretty much an autonomous institution with little to no arranged marriage whatsoever. And also coming out of an unsatisfactory relationship is much easier in the West than in India. The UNICEF statistics shows around 1.5 million girls under 18 get married in India each year, and the prevalence of child marriages in India is about 27% in 2015 to 2016. That means almost a quarter of total marriages are child marriages presently in India. And surprisingly, if we look at the data about the US, just about 3 lakh girls below 18 were married, and that too not in a single year, but between 2000 and 2018, whole 18 years. And most of these marriages are illegal, by the way, because of the low marriage age in various states. Contrary to India, where all these marriages are illegal, the whole quarter marriages are illegal. Are you noticing something? A kind of mirror image between USA and India with respect to this issue. My point is very high prevalence of child marriages in India despite its illegal status, and very low prevalence of child marriages in the USA despite its legal status convey to us something, a grim picture of our society. It tells us the prevalent culture of forced marriages and lack of autonomy, and that can be caused by various other factors like lack of educational opportunities for girls, desperate level of poverty for some, lack of employment opportunities, and even the cultural aspect surrounding the marriages in India. Not just that, the USA has a far higher nutrition level per capita than India. In a result, early physical development take place there compared to India. And high level of physical development could mean fewer complications in early underage pregnancies. So my point is, comparing the legal provisions of two countries which have quite distinct different societal realities, according to me, is an outright silly thing to do. My point is, will Owaisi Sahab would demand the repealing of draconian anti-blasphemy laws in India? Because USA don't have those laws. I'm not any fan of anti-blasphemy laws, but our governments brought these laws because we are such sensitive people that we feel offended when someone makes fun or even criticize our religious beliefs, and in some cases even become violent. You don't see that in America. Here also two different societal realities, thus requiring different legal treatments. Now let's tackle the second criticism: prohibition versus tackling the real issues at the ground level to uplift women by improving their social conditions. As we have seen, despite prohibiting below 18 marriages for girls since 2006 especially, we still live in the society where almost a quarter of marriages are child marriages. So how a new change in the legal age will make the condition any better? And anybody will agree that the government has to do much work in all these areas in order to address the issue of child marriages. But my point is, until all these areas get properly addressed by the government, you still need some kind of legal or punitive action in place in order to at least curtail the problem of child marriages to some extent, if not being able to fully eradicate it. This new law will at least disincentivize some section of the population from marrying their girls before 21 age due to the fear of legal action against them. Thus, some girls might get a chance to complete their graduation at least. Thus, enabling them to apply for some kind of jobs before getting married. And also these late marriages can also save them from maternal mortality too, which, as we have seen previously, is being highly associated with early marriages. Thus, both are important in their own right. Raising the legal age of marriage and the welfare part, which includes raising the nutrition level for girls, ensuring educational opportunities for them, and so on and so forth. Both these measures should go hand in hand. And even if two consenting adults want to live together, the option of live-in relationship is open to them. Supreme Court and some high courts in various judgments made in the past seemed to permit live-in relationships and even entitled them to various legal protections as being given in normal marriages, like right for woman, right for maintenance and inheritance, and etc. Here both parties don't need to attain marriageable age, just they have to be an adult, which means at or above 18. And once they attain their respective marriageable age, they can marry each other and can enjoy the full legal protection from law thereon. Carrying on, as we can all agree, those who support raising the legal age for girls, that legal prohibition alone would not solve the problem of forceful early marriages of girls, as some of the critics rightly pointed out. The government really need to work in order to eradicate the root cause of early age marriages. The steps that can be taken, like ensuring a woman's sanitation facilities in a school, incentivizing families to send their daughters to school, subsidizing girls' education, even subsidizing hostel facilities for girls. All these can reduce the issue of child marriages to some extent. These things are already there to some extent. The government just have to expand the scale of it. Not just that, government and civil society have to come together in order to raise awareness campaigns, teaching young girls and their parents how early marriages can have so many detrimental effects on their physical and mental well-being. A similar kind of holistic approach is required to address the problem of early marriages in India. The combination of prohibition, that is the criminalization of below 21 marriages, social awareness, and also social welfare schemes of the government, together will be able to solve the problem of early marriages. So after going through all of that, I want to ask you guys, what do you think about all of that? Do you support raising of minimum legal age for girls? Do you think that the legal measure alone would solve the problem of early child marriages? What do you think about the holistic approach suggested by me? And what might be your suggestions regarding the whole issue? Please tell me everything in the comment section below. We will soon meet again. Until then, please take care of yourself. अब मुझे अनुमति दें जाने की. Thank you for your precious time. Goodbye and namaste.